Welcome back to Big Mouth and welcome to Big Mouth Live. And there's a few updates tonight, so please, you are more than welcome to put your comments down while I'm reading some articles. And first of all, I'm going to read the official cast list of Neil Gaiman's Netflix show, Sandman. So this is a Sandman Netflix adaptation. I know jack shit about Sandman, but it is DC. It's DC Vertigo. I'm very excited for it. So here is the cast list. The Sandman cast: Jenna Coleman, Johanna Constantine, David Thewlis, John D, Stephen Fry, Gilbert, Patton Oswalt, Matthew the Raven, Jolie Richardson, Ethel, Kirby Howe, Baptiste, Death, Mason Alexander, Park, Desire, Donna Preston, Despair. So that's a great cast list. I know the cast. I don't actually know who actually these characters are because I've never read the comics. So very exciting. But in bigger news, we have got an article on Superman and Lois, which I don't have access to anymore, but I watched the first 5 episodes. I loved it. And this is a big reveal on what happened in last night's Superman and Lois. I've seen the final scene on TikTok. It is sensational. The first Superman since the Christopher Reeve Superman that everyone who loves Superman seems to be embracing, or most people who love Superman. Now, I'm going to read this article. This disproves the people saying that this is a rip-off of Man of Steel. This is nothing like Man of Steel, as much as I love that movie. Superman and Lois, Captain Luthor's true identity revealed in a twist from the DC Syndicate. In the latest episode of Superman and Lois, Man of Steel, Clark discovered Captain Luthor is actually John Henry Irons, the man destined to become Steel. So that's huge. A character which earlier appeared in live action in his own movie, Steel. I've never seen that. In the comics, John Henry Irons debuted during the Death of Superman arc, that's right, in 1993's The Adventure of Superman by Louis Simonson and John Bogdanove. Here, Irons was a man once saved by Superman. He subsequently promised he'd live a life worth saving. In the wake of Superman's death, he made good on his promise and became a superhero in his own right, taking up the name Steel in the homage to the Man of Steel. He's often depicted with a suit of armor and his smart hammer. During a brief retirement, Irons bequeathed the Steel mantle to his niece, Natasha, who went on to become a hero in her own right. When they told me I was going to be playing John Henry Irons, I was overwhelmed, a little emotional. Wal Parks tells TV Line, I remember growing up with him, but it's not just me anymore. There are other kids who grew up with this character, and there are kids growing up now who will know a different version of it. Ronnie Dodge, hello mate, hello Ronnie, just some updates here. Feel free to comment. The responsibility is crazy. This is by far my most important role, if I want to phrase it that way, and I don't take that lightly. This week, Lois finally got her answers about Irons after he intercepted the same shipment of X-Kryptonite she had been tracking with Clark. After Irons recovered the box of X-Kryptonite, she struck a deal with him. If he gave her the box, she would set up a meeting between him and Superman. He agreed. Without realizing her true intentions, she immediately sent the box to the Department of Defense so they could analyze his fingerprints and uncover his real identity. Flashback in today's episode provided a tragic reason for Irons' deep hatred of Superman. As it turns out, Superman murdered Lois on Irons' world after she staged a broadcast where she revealed to that world that kryptonite is his one weakness. The murder happened on live television while both Irons and Nat looked on in horror. Wow, that must have been compelling. Can't believe I can't see this. Lois heard from her contact at the Department of Defense that the prints you had us put are from a guy who died 6 years ago, and his name's not Luthor, it's John Henry Irons, he revealed. Also from the flashbacks, we got to see that the father-daughter team set to building the suit Irons wore when he debuted on the series, they also engineered Steel's iconic kinetic hammer. which debuted in this episode during his confrontation with Superman. Ronnie Dodger, I wanted to say this morning, but having a version of Supergirl in the DCEU is overdue, and I'm glad we're finally getting her. So am I, mate. It's unclear whether John Henry Irons teams up with Superman to eliminate this threat. As of now, Superman and Lois stars, blah, blah, blah. We don't need to know. We already know what it stars. So this is a massive reveal, everyone. So we finally know that Captain Luthor, played by the fantastic Will Parks, is now John Henry Irons, a.k.a. Still. And as we know, he plays a prominent role in the death and rebirth of Superman, something that Snyder totally ignored in his Superman rebirth story. As I say, shouldn't have been done in a Justice League movie anyway. Big mistake, but awesome. This show goes from strength to strength, but you've got to be understanding what's going on here. This links in with the multiverse strategy. Now, we were told at DC Fandom last year that Greg Berlanti and Walter Hamada are working closely together to knit in all these different Earths, the Arrowverse Earth and the DCEU Earth 1, also working together to knit in the Batman universe as well. This is a huge project. Little prediction for you. The Flash crossover will probably be part of that multiverse strategy as well. So it's so very exciting, and I'm really, really pumped for this. But we go on, because J.J. Abrams has been talking about the mistakes made in the Star Wars sequel trilogy. J.J. Abrams reflects on Star Wars and when it's critical to have a plan. I do think that there's nothing more important than knowing where you're going. By Adam Chitwood of Collider. J.J. Abrams was never supposed to direct more than one film in the Star Wars franchise, which is stupid. When he was first approached about tackling Episode 7, he turned it down. It took some convincing on then new Lucasfilm head Kathleen Kennedy's part to get Abrams to agree to sign on. And in doing so, Abrams said at the time he was excited about the idea of creating a foundation from the ground up from which other stories might grow. What's really funny about this, if you've got a plan and you've got this guy doing, building the ground up, the foundations, and then other people agree to, feed those foundations, it's cool. But Rian Johnson came in to do his own thing and kill those foundations with a sledgehammer. Now, I feel that Johnson should have been given his own Star Wars universe, his own trilogy or movie, to do whatever the fuck he wants. What you don't do is bring someone else in. He, of course, clearly wants freedom to do what he wants, and he tears down everything, and then there's controversy. This is where the problems lied. The Force Awakens had the unenviable task of introducing brand new characters that fans would want to follow, while also serving fans' desires to see old favourites back on the screen. Abrams co-writing the script with Lawrence Kasdan after Michael Arndt wrote the initial drafts pulled it off, not only providing a satisfying conclusion to Han Solo's arc, but also making the world fall in love with Rey, Finn, Poe, BB-8, etc. As Abrams was working on The Force Awakens, Lucasfilm wanted to get the next two films in the sequel trilogy off the ground, thus hired Rian Johnson to write and direct Episode 8 and Colin Trevorrow to co-write and direct Episode 9, the idea being that each director would build on what the previous filmmaker had crafted. If that was the idea, why didn't they do it? Why didn't someone stop Johnson from tearing down everything that had been built up? Leading to the sort of creative handoff from one director to the next, it's a poor idea. In Johnson's case, that meant following certain threads that Abrams built, like Rey's confrontation with Luke Skywalker and dropping others like Snoke. The Last Jedi was a critical success, but was divisive among some diehard fans, owing to some of these decisions to veer left when it looked like Abrams was plotting a course to the right. This is spot on. So when Abrams signed on to take over Episode 9 after Trevorrow left the project, he had yet another unenviable task, albeit a completely different one. He had to finish off a story he started, but one that had taken some alternate routes in its middle chapter, routes that Abrams would have necessarily gone down. The resulting film, The Rise of Skywalker, was similarly divisive, as Abrams brought the story back around to some ideas he had locating while making The Force Awakens, specifically owing to raise parentage. Personally, I enjoyed the creative handoff between Abrams and Johnson. You see, how can you say that? How can you say that with a straight fucking face? I like that The Force Awakens and The Last Jedi feel like distinct films, each following themes and threads that these two different filmmakers spark to, but others blame the creative handoff for perceived problems, like me, with the sequel trilogy and Khan that would have been better had Abrams and Lucasfilm planned out their 3-movie arc from the very beginning. Now, normally, intelligent people would have a plan, and I'm surprised someone like J.J. Abrams and Kathleen Kennedy didn't. So when I spoke to Abrams recently for a press day celebrating the 10th anniversary of his Super 8, which is now available on 4K UHD Blu-ray, I asked him about this creative handoff. Specifically, does he feel the Star Wars trilogy would have benefited from having a plan from the very beginning? In answering, Abrams drew from the wealth of experience in television. I have been involved in a number of projects that have been, in most cases, series that have ideas that begin the thing where you feel like you know where it's going to go. And sometimes it's an actor who comes in, or other times it's a relationship that, as written, doesn't quite work. And things that you think are going to just be so well received just crash and burn. And other things that you think like, oh, that's a small moment. Oh, that's a one-episode character, suddenly become a hugely important part of the story. I feel like what I've learned as a lesson a few times now, and it's something that, especially in this pandemic year working with writers, has become clear. The lesson is that you have to plan things as best you can, and you always need to be able to respond to the unexpected, and the unexpected can come in all sorts of forms, and I do think that there's nothing more important than knowing where you're going. Abrams' acknowledgement that sometimes a plan is the thing that gets in the way. Ronnie Dodge, Jason Kilar said today that the DCEU multiverse will have 12 dozen projects being in the works. Wow! Thank you, Ronnie. That's really exciting. Was this a tweet? Or was this an article? We're going to read it in a minute. Seems a bit dead here tonight. Not many people here. Never mind. It's you and me and another couple of other people. We can deal with that. There are projects that I've worked on where we had some ideas, but we hadn't worked through them enough. Sometimes we had some ideas, but then we weren't allowed to do them the way we wanted to. I've had all sorts of situations where you plan things in a certain way and you suddenly find yourself doing something that's 180 degrees different. And then sometimes it works really, really well and you feel like, wow, that really came together. And other times you think, oh my God, I can't believe this is where we are. And sometimes when it's not working out, it's because it's what you planned. And other times when it's not working out, it's because you didn't have a plan. But ultimately, the filmmaker said that he's learned the hard way that it's better to have a plan and be willing or able to change it than not to have one at all. Look, this is a staggering admittance, if you, I don't know, is it on his account? If you can't find it, don't bother. If it's too much trouble, but if you could find it for me so we could read it here together so I can analyze it, that would be awesome. You just never really know, but having a plan, I have learned in some cases the hard way, is the most critical thing, because otherwise you don't know what you're setting up. You don't know what to emphasize, because if you don't know the inevitable of your story, you're just as good as your last sequence or effect or joke or whatever, but you want to be leading to something inevitable. He's not wrong. And his examples of working in TV are especially relevant. Breaking Bad had the overarching plan of taking a character from Mr. Chips to Scarface over the course of the series. But creator Vince Gilligan also planned on killing off Aaron Paul's Jesse Pinkman at the end of season 1. It was only after he saw Paul's chemistry with Bryan Cranston that he changed his mind, and Jesse became an integral part of one of the best TV shows ever made. And on Lost, which Abrams worked on as an executive producer, sometimes writer, and pilot director, showrunner Damon Lindelof revealed that ABC kind of forced their hand in making them extend the story beyond what they felt would be right for the series. Yeah, Lost should have been a one-series thing. Joel Davis, hello, Mickey. What do you make of Ariana Grande marriage? I don't know. Honestly, I don't really care. It's fake. All these celebrity relationships are fake. They're not real. And if I offered myself to Ariana, she'd still be up for it. So Abrams thought he'd check out, and they come from years of experience working both with and without overarching plans. Look for my full interview with Abrams about Super 8 and much more on Collider soon. So this is very interesting, and I want to unpackage this actually. And then we're going to talk about one last article. Ronnie Dodge, no article. I saw a few tweets because it was about the launch of HBO Max in South America. So it looks like the multiverse is really going to bleed in, and it looks like those 12 projects, Ronnie, will be on HBO Max. So that's very, very exciting. This DC multiverse is huge. Bring on the Flash to see it all come together. So anyway, let's unpackage this. He was there to talk about the anniversary of Super 8, one of his great achievements. Now, normally, these journalists have notes. Don't ask me about A, don't ask me about B, don't ask me about C. Ronnie Dodge, no turning back now. So, he obviously specifically wanted them to ask him about this. But why? It's simple. His dream, his biggest dream, is to write and direct the Superman movie. He knows he has to explain himself. He knows he has to win trust back within the geek fan community, and especially Superman fans. Since what happened with the sequel trilogy, very few people trust JJ. I will always trust JJ, and I'll tell you why. Alias, Fringe, Lost, Star Trek 2009, and other projects too. The man's a genius. There's no question about that. And he's done very well for himself in this industry. But it was very interesting. He was talking about having a plan and it not working, not having a plan and it not working. Sometimes people not letting you do what you want to do. Now, I think he's talking about Kennedy and Lucasfilm. I never blame JJ for this clusterfuck. Now, they didn't have a plan, but guess who did? George Lucas had a plan for 7, 8, and 9, and they didn't let him do it because so many Star Wars fans wrongly hated him for the Star Wars prequels. So they were in a bugger's muddle. So they just, they couldn't. I shouldn't have said what I just said, by the way. Just ignore that. I heard that phrase in the making of Superman. It was years old. I shouldn't have said that. But anyway, let's hope I don't. I take that back, obviously. But anyway, they were in a bit of trouble there. Sometimes I don't know what I'm saying. But anyway, so where was I? So they didn't have a plan, but George Lucas had a plan, right? So, they could have brought Lucas on, but they were scared about the consequences because of the hate that he had. So they didn't want to do that. So then you come up with your own plan, which they didn't have. Abrams set up the foundations, as he said. But then Rian Johnson said, nah, I don't like this. He tossed it over his shoulders like Luke tosses his lightsaber off the edge in the very beginning of Star Wars The Last Jedi. Now, it's clear that Rian Johnson is a talented man. It's clear he could have made an awesome trilogy of his own or a standalone Star Wars story. So if he wanted to do something different and not what JJ was doing, he shouldn't have been involved. But the best thing would have happened if they just allowed JJ to write and direct all 3 films. I suspect JJ only did it because he was doing 1 film. But that's the problem. You can't do that unless the other creatives are going to build off his plan. And they weren't going to do that. And that was a big problem. JDTSB, no trust in Abrams' mystery boxes. The guy can't make decent endings. Well, do you know what? I like mystery box storytelling. Lost worked out very well. Fringe worked out very well. And he doesn't always do mystery box. Star Trek 2009 didn't have mystery box, and that film had a good ending. I know people have issues with Into Darkness, which was a good film and not particularly kind of typical loyal Star Trek film. I accept that. I do trust him because of the stuff that he's done. And Superman's something he's really wanted to do. He's got something to prove, that's for sure. So I think he could pull it off. We need someone like Abrams to do Superman. It would work. And obviously, Black Superman's coming as well. His Superman will be a different Superman, hopefully Henry Cavill. So I feel this is why he's saying all this stuff. He's trying to spin the narrative. He's trying to explain himself. He wants people to trust him again. So there's that. So that was an interesting article. But finally, this is something that proves to me what I've been saying why the inception of the DCEU was a clusterfuck. Take a listen to this. Setting Man of Steel into the Dark Knight universe was not 100% off the table. Yeah? Are you thinking what I'm thinking? Zack Snyder recalls the early days of developing the 2013 film with Christopher Nolan and also reveals the actor he spoke with a lot about playing Batman when it was unclear Ben Affleck would join Batman v Superman by Aaron Crouch of The Hollywood Reporter. In 2013, Zack Snyder relaunched DC's film universe with Man of Steel, which starred Henry Cavill as Superman and counted filmmaker Christopher Nolan as among its producers and writers. Nolan was known for being protective of his Dark Knight trilogy, wanting it to stand apart from any spin-offs, then he shouldn't have been involved in a Superman movie, or larger plans at DC. Yet, as Snyder recalls it, in the early days of developing the property after he was hired in 2010, it wasn't totally out of the question for the Man of Steel to take place in the same universe, which it should have done. Snyder, it was not 100% off the table. We did talk about it a little bit. Snyder told MTV's Josh Horowitz on Wednesday's episode of the Happy, Sad, Confused podcast. The Dark Knight Rises, Nolan's 2012 conclusion to his Batman trilogy, ended with John Blake, Joseph Gordon-Levitt taking over as Batman for Bruce Wayne, Christian Bale. That would have complicated things, as audiences likely wanted to see Bruce Wayne slug it out with Superman, not an alternate version of Batman. But we saw that he was alive in the end. Now, we don't know if that was a real moment or just a fantasy of Alfred's, but he's there. They could have easily brought him back. There's no justification for this. I always said, with Nolan involved, the Dark Knight universe should have been the beginning of the DCEU. And it's fucking nuts that they didn't do this. JDTSB, all the twists and turns of Lost went nowhere. Well, listen, this is the problem with today's audience. It's no disrespect to yourself, JDTSB, but people want to be spoon-fed everything. Life on Mars, let you decide. Lost, let you decide. It answered some things and left some things kind of ambiguous, which was fine with me, but it wasn't everyone's cup of tea, because as I say, some people just want to be spoon-fed every single answer with a happy, clappy ending. And this is not what they were doing. From the beginning, you could tell that the thing was a mind fuck anyway. And if you don't like that kind of thing, you shouldn't really be watching the whole series, in my opinion. Maybe that's why we didn't do it, said Snyder. It would have been Joseph, which could have been cool. No, Snyder. You've brought this up now. I'm gonna qualify this. Not only there is no problem, by the way, of having, Joseph Gordon-Levitt as a kind of, version of Robin or a Batman or whatever. That actually would have been cool. And guess what? They could have brought Bale back if he agreed to it. It wouldn't have been a problem. It wouldn't have been a fucking problem. He would have just been a new version of Batman or Robin or whatever. And it would have been, the Dark Knight trilogy would have been an origin for the DCEU. If you've got Nolan there, that's what you do. Ultimately, Nolan's The Dark Knight films remains siloed off, which is stupid. I don't blame him. I like that this thing doesn't get muddied by these other touches, said Snyder. No, I don't agree with you, Zach. It was an almighty mistake. Kavari, one of two. Army of the Dead review. This is one of the most cringy, poorly written and badly directed movies I've ever seen. Far too long. Little characterization and story. Kavari, 2 out of 2. This is basically Suicide Squad, but worse. It's official. Zack Snyder is the modern version of Michael Bay. Wow, that, in my opinion, that's really harsh, Kavari, but you are entitled to your opinion. I thought it was a really well-directed film. It looked beautiful. I thought the first 3 quarters were beautiful until we lost the coyote and they started doing silly things like the daughter and all of that. But I thought the first 3 quarters was pretty good. It's not the best thing I've ever seen, and nowhere near my favourite zombie movie of recent times, which is World War Z. But I respect your thoughts for sure. Man of Steel became a hit, and after its release in 2013, Snyder electrified San Diego Comic-Con with a simple tease that packed a major punch. The filmmaker told the 6,500 people packed into Hall H that a Superman sequel was in development. Kavari, Dawn of the Dead is a better movie. I'm going to give you a bit of a confession. I've never seen Dawn, never seen it. And I'm not really into zombies anyway, but I did stay loyal to The Walking Dead for a while. Then he brought out Man of Steel actor Harry Lennox to read a passage from The Dark Knight Returns, the 1986 Frank Miller miniseries that saw an aging Batman take down Superman. That confirmed to the world that the next film would see Batman and Superman fight it out. At the time, it was unclear who would play Batman, with Ben Affleck boarding several months after Comic-Con. Snyder acknowledges that he had another Bruce Wayne in the wings if Affleck said no. Belgian actor, filmmaker, Matthias Schwarzenegger. Is this the guy from Army of the Dead? It sounds like it. That would have been interesting, wouldn't it? I was talking to him a lot about it, said Snyder. He never got in the suit, but I did do a bunch of mock-ups of him because Ben was on the fence, and I don't blame him. Everyone should be on the fence when you're asked, do you want to play Batman? Schwartz, who was in his 30s at the time of these conversations, has said he felt he was too young to play mid-40s Batman. While Batman v Superman Dawn of Justice took inspiration from The Dark Knight Returns, it shouldn't have taken inspiration. It should have been The Dark Knight Returns. Snyder says doing straight adaptation of the comic is still on his wish list, and he envisions a film with have new actors, not Affleck or Cavill. It's really funny, you know, because you could have actually fucking adapted the movie in the first place. Ronnie Dodge, Zack doesn't stop, does he? I like the guy, but who knows? Yeah, he doesn't stop, does he? I think it would just be its own thing. I would do it 100% Watchmen style, said Snyder, referencing his 2009 adaptation of the graphic novel. I don't even think it'd be that expensive, to be honest. It's pretty gritty. Snyder went on to direct and leave Justice League before getting the opportunity to release his own cut earlier this year on HBO Max. He's currently back on screens with Army of the Dead, his zombie heist movie starring Dave Bautista. So, they're the articles that I collected for you all. And Kavari, breaking news. We've got JL casting news. Is it the casting news from 3 days ago, or is it new, Kavari? Let me know if it's brand new. Anyway, you've got Christopher Nolan to co-write a story with David F. Goyer, the two people who forged together the Dark Knight trilogy, and they don't make it part of the DCEU, a Man of Steel. This is the dumbest fucking idea I've ever seen, right? The dumbest idea, right? And I mean, I've had some dumb ideas in terms of stories in my time, but people liked the Dark Knight trilogy. This would have helped the DCEU, right? And probably would have avoided a Batman versus Superman scenario, which didn't work out anyway. So for me, I was saying this for years, that the Dark Knight trilogy should have been part of the DCEU. And not doing that, I'm sorry, Zach, to contradict you, was a fucking clusterfuck of a mistake. Kavari, Jeremy Irvine confirms Alan Scott casting for HBO Max Series 3 hours ago. Oh, yeah, we know that. That's from a few days ago, but thank you. Ronnie Dodge, nothing on what I see. No, there's nothing. There's just the old news. Karari just had old news. It's not new news. So, also, Jason Kilar has confirmed that we have got loads of multiverse projects over on HBO Max as well for the DCEU. But I must stress, Sam Janvries, please don't compare Zack Snyder to Michael Bay. You have to talk to Kavari about that, not me. I actually like Michael Bay as well. Michael Bay's Transformer films are pretty awesome and hardcore, so I don't have a problem with Michael Bay. I know Michael Bay doesn't treat women, he makes them bend over and stuff, and I'm sorry about that, but I still don't mind Michael Bay. Anyway, right. Listen, I must stress this enough, that all these DC projects are going to be part of one multiverse strategy and one universe. They can all interact with the other. And as I said earlier on in this video, I suspect that one of the Flash kind of crossovers will be part of this multiverse strategy to tease the Flash movie, which is very, very exciting. Sam Jamriou still is in Superman and Lois. Yeah, you missed me. You missed me reading the article all about it, Sam, and it's awesome news. You've wanted Still, you've got Still in the best version of Superman since Christopher Reeves. because it's a version everyone's embracing, which is fantastic news. We're not arguing. We're not arguing about this. Everyone's talking about Superman and Lois, but positively. Ronnie Dodge, well, at least The Flash is making the Dark Knight canon, unlike Snyder. Well, yeah, well, Nolan would never agree for it to officially be canon, but at least anything's possible if he ever does agree. Kavari, Snyder hasn't made a good movie since MOS. Yeah, I said it. Sam Jajan reviews, I want Steel in the DCEU. Well, that's part of the multiverse strategy. Everything's canon now, so he is part of the DCEU after Flashpoint. JDTBSB, Sam Dejan agree. Anyway, I want to go back to Kavari. Snyder hasn't made a good movie since MOS. Isn't it interesting that the mainstream audience loved the one movie that Snyder did that he didn't write? That film was written by David S. Goyer and Christopher Nolan. And I've always said this is the best thing for Zack in his career, that he directs people's stories. Man of Steel looks great. It's beautifully directed. But the narrative is from Nolan and Goyer. That's why that film works for so many people. And there's still people who hate Man of Steel. There's still people who say it's Superman. It's just an alien invasion movie with this guy from another planet. People like Jeremy from Geeks and Gamers. They may have a point. It's not really the traditional Superman. I still love it and see Henry as Superman, but I understand what the film's critics are saying. And I think Kavari may be onto something there. Ronnie Dodge, with the 12 projects, I can see Flash movie spin-offs and Robert producing Batman family projects. Very interesting. These projects, obviously, because I think that key lies mainly on the HBO Max side of things. So it looks like, and they were talking about HBO Max South America or whatever they were talking about, yeah, these are spin-offs. So this is now going to be a huger universe than we ever envisioned back in 2013. Kavari, keep Snyder away from the story script. Well, he's not going to be part of the DCEU, but Snyder's never going to stop writing. He fancies himself as an auteur, and unfortunately, people will let him do it. But obviously, he's done with DC. So if you're a DC fan, rejoice. Sam Jan reviews, the only person in the Dark Knight trilogy I can see, I said, at the DCEU is Joseph Gordon-Levitt character John Blake. Well, they said that was the reason they didn't make the Dark Knight trilogy canon, because they felt people wouldn't want to see him. I think they would have. I think people would have been excited, by the way. Ronnie Dodge, BVS was great, but not amazing. But Zack Snyder's Justice League is better than the first Avengers. Zack Snyder's Justice League is probably, apart from Wonder Woman's 2017, one of my favourite CBMs of all time, along with Man of Steel and Superman the movie. It's amazing, Ronnie. It really is. You know, congratulations to Snyder. He pulled that film off. And why they didn't let him do it, I don't know. But at the end of the day, I like BVS. And I think BVS, for myself, I like BVS. Man of Steel, BVS, and Zack Snyder's Justice League is a fantastic trilogy of movies. And no one will ever change my mind about that. So it's just unfortunate that both creative and studio couldn't work together. I can understand the studio's point of view. Critics, the media, the fandoms were at their neck, pressuring them to move on Snyder. It was a difficult situation for both sides. Kavari, Army of the Dead proves Snyder shouldn't write. Sam Dejan reviews. Have you seen the Steel movie with Shaquille O'Neal? It is garbage. I've never seen it. They did just used to put DC and Marvel on anything back in the day, didn't they? Which is hilarious. But yeah. It looks like someone's abducted. Oh, Bobcat. I know why Bobcat's not here. He's getting his vaccine. JDTSB. Snyder made the best DC movies and most profitable ones. Shazam was a flop. No, my friend, Shazam wasn't a flop. It cost very little to make, under 100 million. It made about 200, 300 million. It made a very healthy profit. They knew it wasn't going to hit big. It's a very small property. It did very well. Families and parents saw it together. My nieces and nephews, my brothers and sisters all loved that film, so I won't take that. Now, and by the way, Snyder didn't make Aquaman. Aquaman is the most profitable and successful film in the DCEU. And then there's Joker in DC Dark. So actually, you're wrong there. Kavari, I love Shazam. I love Shazam too. I love Shazam as well. And it's not a flop. You need to get your maths calculator out. You need to get your calculator out, my friend. JDTBSB. Well, except for Phoenix's Joker, that was good too. And obviously Aquaman made more money than any of Snyder's movies as well. Let's remember that. The Snyder put the cast together. Congratulations to that. But James Wan, gave us a brilliant comic book movie, and the costume was comic book accurate, and it was great. Sam Lejean reviews. I want DC Black Label movies. Yeah, apparently they're developing a Joker sequel, so you won't have to wait long. Maybe a couple of years, but although you do seem a bit impatient, Sam, so you may not be able to wait a couple of years. Kavari, it had kindness and heart, something DC movies needs. Do you know what I think, Kavari? Especially with this multiverse strategy, I think what we're going to get are light family films with kindness and things like that, and darker films. There should be something for everyone. It shouldn't be all dark and it shouldn't all be light. And I believe this multiverse strategy will have a variety. And I think we can all embrace that, right? Ronnie Dodge, Aquaman made $1 billion, which something Snyder couldn't do with two important superheroes. Yeah, when you can't make well over $1 billion on a Batman and a Superman movie, that is a problem. But that's the kind of films the man makes. It doesn't make BVS a bad movie. Not for me. I enjoyed it. Now, the original theatrical release didn't make sense in places because they cut the film to pieces. Kavari, Ronnie Dodge. Oh, Kavari liked that, didn't I? I don't think he's the biggest. Yeah. At the end of the day, it's there. James. Now, let's Ronnie Dodge. The best casting Zach did was Gal Gadot as Wonder Woman and Henry. All his castings are perfect. Cavill, Gadot, Momoa, Ezra Miller. Maybe I wouldn't have gone for Ezra. I like Ezra, but maybe I would have gone for someone who looks slightly younger, just my opinion. But very good actor. But his castings are fantastic, and I can't put any dispersions on that. But let's look at James Wan's Aquaman. Let's look at the circumstances around that film. Ben Pottimeyer, it was great reveal. I got goosebumps and was like, oh shit, it's Steel, when he said, I'm the Man of Steel. Ben, this is one of the best live-action versions of Superman I've ever seen. And this is the most popular live-action version of Superman since Superman the movie. Us as fans, as Superman fans, are all coming together instead of arguing about this. Everyone's saying, or most people are saying, this is amazing. This is nothing like Man of Steel, totally in a different direction. So it looks a bit, the action pieces look Man of Steel and Snyder-ish, but that's the only thing you can connect to Man of Steel and the DCEU. Ronnie Dodge, there should be a pick and a mix for DC fans, not just for fans who want darker stuff. JDTSB, what can I say? James Wan is $1 billion director. He even made F&F, $1 billion franchise. Sam Lejean reviews, I wish they would do something with Henry Cavill. Right, I want to go back to my subject of Aquaman, because Aquaman is a fantastic achievement. Aquaman came after the only flop in the DC Extended Universe, Justice League. Now, hang on, let me read these comments. Not Henry Cavill, Ronnie Dodge. Sorry, Kavari, it's true. Maybe people can't take the truth. Kavari, JDTSB, let James Wan do JL2. I wouldn't be opposed to that. Anyway, getting back to my point. Aquaman came after a flop, a clusterfuck. All the stuff about the Snyder Cut and all of that was fresh. I only started my channel just before that film was released, and I had the honor of going to see a test screening of that film. And that reaction video I did is probably my most successful video to date. I came out of that film fucking surprised how good it was after the disappointment and heartbreak of Justice League. Sam Lejean reviews, Ben Affleck should direct Justice League 2. Never going to happen. So I was surprised. But what was amazing about that film, Walter Hamada had just joined. He binned a lot of the concepts and stuff that Zack Snyder wanted in the Aquaman film, and they made it differently. They didn't like his underwater sequences. James Wan went to work, got rid of the air bubbles. Thank God I said that without Bobcat, because he does go on about that, doesn't he? But anyway, right? So they, Hamada and Wan did something amazing with that film. It's a great movie. Snyder says nobody talks about that movie. They do, Zach, but they say nice things about it. I know that's a new concept for you. JDTSB, Momoa, Miller, and Fisher were good casting. Affleck was good too. Zach is good with casting. Agreed. Kavari, James Wan, underwater CGI was unbelievable and groundbreaking and better than what we saw in the Snyder Cut. That's the only thing I can criticize Snyder visually is the underwater stuff wasn't what I expected from someone like Snyder. Ronnie Dodge, let James Gunn do a Justice League movie because his strength in group movies. That's a good point, Ronnie. Sam Ryu, Zach helped James with Aquaman. That was the initial plan, and maybe he started that, but once he was driven out during Justice League, that changed, my friend. So Aquaman is a James Wan movie, but it's just a sensational achievement as far as I'm concerned. Coming on the back of a fucking flop, a clusterfuck, their whole plan down in tatters. If Aquaman didn't work, that would have been it. Aquaman helped them get to a place where they could plan the multiverse strategy. So it was a vital movie, a vital success, a stunning visual movie. It might even be the best movie visually in the DCEU, and I know Zach's movies are stunning, but I just feel that was a great achievement. Ronnie Dodge, Ray Fisher was great casting. Shame about his massive ego. Agreed. Sam DeJan reviews. WB told James Wan not to get Zach for the movie, and he helped James with the movie. What? I don't know. That is an internet rumor, my friend. That is an internet rumor, as you know. Maybe Zach did help, but James Wan, that is a... Zach also helped Patty with Wonder Woman when she was left alone. WW went down the drain. Good she was redeemed in JL. Basically, Wonder Woman, the first one, was a great film, Sam. JDTSB. The first Wonder Woman is one of the best CBMs ever made. And he was part of that film, and he co-wrote the story as well. So Zach played a big part in the first Wonder Woman. Patty was just the episode director, which I've had discussions and arguments about before. Kavari, James Wan outdid Zach and Christopher Nolan. It was certainly a very well-made film, and I'm very impressed with that film, and I was proud I went to see it in the movie theatre. It was awesome. And we have got a lot of great achievements thus far in the DCEU, no matter what people say. Sam DeJan reviews, I want to see the Trinity again in the DCEU. Ronnie Dodge, I prefer the Atlantis in James' world than Zach's. It's vibrant and colours pop. It's a place I would love to live. Yeah, there's no popping in Zack Snyder's Underwater. It's pretty dark, a bit dingy, a bit too real. It's more realistic. But we're seeing Atlantis. It's a beautiful world. And as you say, it's a place you'd want to visit or live. So absolutely, Ronnie, it's great. The film is a major achievement. There's no question about that. A major achievement. And it was a vital movie. They had to get it right after Justice League. A sensational movie, you know, amazing. It was stunning. So there's a lot going on. Let's see about that Keelar stuff. Jason Keelar. Right, this is from Luis Fernando. I think this is what you were talking about. So let's have a look. Right, so we start off with him saying this. Jason Keelar just announced that HBO Max arrives in Latin America on June the 29th, hitting 39 countries of the region. He also mentioned that the plan of the DC multiverse will result in around 2,000 DC productions between all divisions to be available in the future. That is so ambitious. JDTSB, I can't unsee Gunn's pictures in a paedophile theme party. I don't really want him near DC, but I'm not going to make noise, just not going to support. But wasn't that party mocking paedophilia, my friend? Isn't that what it was, right? Ronnie Dodge, although if I had to choose to live somewhere like the Themyscira or Atlantis, I would choose Themyscira as it's away from people. I would choose to live there because it's full of beautiful women. Oh, yeah, I'd be busy. Anyway, correction. Jason Keeler actually said that the plan of the DC multiverse will result in around 24, yeah, not 2,000, dozen DC productions between all divisions soon. Not 2,000 that I mistakenly wrote in the original live tweet below. Damn, not to be that guy, but yeah, we're hoping for more DC content, but we didn't want them to saturate the market with too much DC content. They're such pricks, right? They either moan there's not enough DC content, now they're talking about oversaturation. So he's talking about, what we're talking about, 24 DC productions. So that's basically, what's a dozen? 12? So you're talking about 24 DC projects around all the platforms. That sounds like 24 DC productions a year. That's huge. That's very ambitious. So they're saying on the CW, on HBO Max and other places and movie theaters, you know, that's what he must be talking about. He must be talking about 24 DC projects, live action projects a year. He's obviously talking about animation as well. This is very exciting. Sam Jam Reviews, is Amber Heard still in Aquaman 2? Yes, and I approve of that decision. JDTSB, isn't Keeler out of HBO Max now? No, his contract doesn't finish till next year, and that's when he'll leave. Ronnie Dodge, yeah, it was Louis' tweets I saw. Christian Perego, do you know Clementino? No, I know Clementine. No, it's a fruit, isn't it? Ronnie Dodge, Jason is not out until next year when Discovery take over. Exactly, my friend. So that's that. So thank you, Ronnie Dodge, for pointing that out. Very exciting. You know, Ron, I like Gracie Cosplayer. Let's have a look at Gracie Cosplayer. She's fine, right? You can't see her properly. She's fine. A very beautiful woman. Ronnie Dodge, 24 projects. That sounds like, Ronnie, and Louis didn't explain it properly, that sounds like 24 projects every year for DC. That's live action, that's television, and that's animation. That's very ambitious, all through all the platforms. That's what we want to see. That is not oversaturation. That's fucking epic. Remember when you were all saying DC didn't have a plan? They fucking well have. And it sounds like an awesome plan. JGTSB, Amber Heard was replaced with Amelia Clark, a reunion with Momoa. Sorry, JGTSB, that's bullshit. That's not happening. She's not going to replace her. Amber Heard rightly keeps her role. I like the continuity. It is not your business and my business about Johnny Depp's and Amber Heard's marriage. I couldn't give a fuck. He married a beautiful young woman because she was ambitious and wanted to take advantage of his position to become famous and become an actress. It's happened a billion times before. He should have seen it coming. He wasn't smart enough. And now he's suing her, and all these court cases are the reason he's fucked his career up. So it's down to him. They both took lumps out of each other. I'm not taking sides, and I'm very happy. I like Amber. I've spoke to her on Twitter before. She seems like a nice girl. It doesn't matter if she's a nice girl or not. Doesn't matter. I think she's a great Mira, and I want to continue seeing her as Mira. And this nonsense and bullshit and fandom menace shit about Amber Heard this, Amber Heard that. FBI is investigating Amber Heard. Get over it. You're never getting rid of her. Never. JDTSB, how about Emmerich? There is no confirmation on Toby Emmerich. We know he was allegedly looking for a job at Netflix. He's probably out. But not till his contract's up. And I think that will be when these things will develop when this deal is official next year. Kavari, the special effects supervisor, said Aquaman had 6 VFX studios working on it. I saw the making of that film. It was very ambitious, and they really went full on with it. And James Wan is also a perfectionist. Ronnie Dodge, well, after them comments from Jason, bye-bye Snyderverse, sorry, not sorry. Look, Ronnie, it's gone. It's gone. As simple as that, it's gone. But Snyder is promoting his movie and he's talking a lot. So, but never say never, Ronnie, because things can change. You know, it's gone. As far as we know, it's gone. But who knows what's going to happen in the future? It's always out there. He's got a huge fandom as well. And Discovery will know this. So it's interesting. I never discount anything in this industry because this industry makes fools out of all of us. The Snyder Cut doesn't exist. It's never going to happen. It happened and it did exist. Kavari, not the biggest Snyder fan, but I want Toby gone. I think Toby will be gone. I think I don't really know much about him. I've never worked with him, so I can't really format an opinion on him. Clearly, it was him who wanted Snyder to release the black and white Snyder Cut, which wasn't good, but he's a business guy. He just wanted Snyder and his fans out of WB Pictures' hair. So there's that. But I don't know Toby Emmerich well enough to start saying I hate him and I want him gone. You know, I don't base the internet as facts. You know, I like to know things for sure. It's good to talk about rumours and conjecture and things like that, but never treat them as fact. That's a big mistake. I'm definitely a fan of Snyder's DC movies. Kavari, why doesn't DC have their own studio like Marvel? Because they don't. And maybe they will. Maybe they will. I'd have 3 different studios, DC Studios, DC Elseworld Studios, and DC Dark Studios, and, you know, do something amazing with that. But we'll see what the future holds. As long as you've got the right people running these things, it's not necessary to have a DC studio. Ronnie Dodge, we all need to move on now, but things can change, but Discovery will not bow down to fans. Well, I wouldn't say... be careful, Ronnie, what you predict. Be careful. They're ambitious. If they think there's money in it, they'll create something. But Snyder wants to run the whole thing. And certainly Discovery or anyone with any sanity in their head will never let that happen. We saw what happened with Zach Brown things. It didn't work out, did it? So... But the fans of Snyder, the diehards, will never move on, and that's up to them. I can't tell people to move on if they don't want to. We are where we are. We are where we are, but never say never. Never say never, and be careful what you discount. Don't discount anything in this industry, no matter what your agenda is. Never. Never say never. As we were all saying, the Snyder Cut doesn't exist, won't happen. Look what happened. It happened. Ronnie Dodge, I feel the opposite, actually. I feel because David knows Toby, he might keep him around. No. Business is business. He knows Jason Keelar as well. He spoke well of Jason Keelar, and then Jason Keelar, 5 minutes later, went and resigned with a letter, and now he's leaving next year. So, you can't, yeah. Hey, Mickey, I made it. That's awesome. So, how did the vaccine go? How are you feeling? Ronnie Dodge, Bobcat is here. He is the main man. Bobcat got my first COVID vaccine dose. Everyone say hey to Bobcat, and I'm glad you're okay after your vaccine. Come on, everyone. There's 9 of you in the house. Come on. Let's be a family. Let's be friendly. Let's not be assholes, right? Ronnie Dodge, how's the arm, Bobcat? I've got mine a week on Saturday. And I'm hearing so much shit about these vaccines, it scares you, don't it? Bobcat, it hurts like crap, but it's getting better. But it's supposed to hurt more later on. Oh, great. Bobcat, hey, Ronnie Dodge. So we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. It's a tunnel. The DC live action universe is just a tunnel, and You keep on digging coal out of it. No matter how much coal you dig out, there's more coal to find. So, and there's always people with hot takes on the internet to wind us up and trigger us. They make money. They monetize what we don't like to hear. That's what they do. People do it on YouTube. They do it on TikTok. They do it on Twitter. I mean, Piers Morgan's made a fucking career out of it, hasn't he? My God, my throat is killing me. Bobcat, Ronnie Dodge. Saw and I've got to drink a lot of water. JDTSB, James Wan consulted with Zach despite WB's opposition. Respect is a good thing among colleagues. Yeah, it's good he consulted with Zach, obviously. He spoke to Zach about what he was doing, probably before Hamada came involved as well. But yeah, I mean, basically, Zach wanted Batman and Superman in the Aquaman film, and it didn't happen. So that film is nowhere near what Snyder was going to do. But it's good that they consulted with each other. Ronnie Dodge, it's getting closer to my age. They're doing people who are 30 now in the UK. Bobcat, sorry to interrupt the conversation. What are we talking about today? Well, you've missed a great stream, my friend. I was talking about Zack Snyder saying that the Dark Knight trilogy universe wasn't off the table for being part of the DCEU in the inception of Man of Steel. We've spoken about J.J. Abrams saying maybe they should have had a plan for the sequel trilogy of Star Wars. We've been speaking about Superman and Lois, and Wal Parks discussing the fact that he's now John Henry Allen, I think, or whatever the character's name is, still. He was revealed on last night's show. We've been discussing the amazing success of Aquaman after Justice League, which was a flop. And they're the discussions we've been having, Bobcat. Ronnie Dodge, Bobcat, Jason Kilar has said the multiverse will have 24 projects after The Flash. Yes. Jason Kilar has said we will have 24 DC projects a year going through all the platforms. That's live action movies, live action DC TV, animation, the lot. It's very ambitious, Bobcat, and very exciting, I think, for all of us. Bobcat, I got to watch all of Superman and Lois. I haven't watched any episodes yet. I watched the first 5, Bobcat, and now they're not available here where I am. Very disappointing. But I've been getting snippets off the internet. Leroy Kong, John Henry Irons. That's right. Thank you, Leroy Kong. Ronnie Dodge. Just keep an eye on it, Bobcat. You're probably going to feel like crazy for the next couple of days. Ronnie Dodge, feel like crap. I mean, Bobcat. Well, the vaccine affects different people differently. My father never got ill and just got a sore arm the first time. The second time, he wasn't affected at all. It all depends on the person. I think the unfitter you are and the more unhealthy you are, the more it affects you. I think so. I'm fucked. Bobcat, yeah, the second dose is supposed to be worse. Didn't affect my father at all. At all. Neither did the first. Depends on the person. Depends on your medical history, what's going on in here. And I think I heard what's actually in those vaccines. One is the common flu. And I know there's water in there as well. I can't remember the other stuff. It was a doctor was telling us on TikTok. Bobcat, yeah, the first dose is definitely affecting me, lol. What, you feeling fevery and cold, yeah? I don't want to know, actually, because I've got to have mine a week on Saturday, and it's not looking forward to it. Bobcat, more hot. Yeah, because they've given you the common flu. That's why. And the trick is next time for your second one, because lots of people have been doing this, take 4 paracetamol the day before, take 1 the morning before you go, take 2 the morning before you go, and take probably another couple afterwards. Now, do this in 4-hour spaces, because paracetamol lasts 4 hours of time. So don't overdose. Don't take them all at once or anything stupid like that. But paracetamol obviously is very good. I don't know if they do paracetamol in the good old US of A. You know who makes me laugh on Twitter, these movie theatre Nazis? Bobcat, and the arm pain is far, far worse than the flu shot. I mean, I could kind of feel it going through my arm. Wow. I'm not looking forward to that. I've never had the flu shot, but I was in hospital for 6 weeks and I had loads of needles in me and stuff. You must remember this. A kiss is just a kiss. And Bobcat, and that was after the shot. Wow. Some people can't take these things as well as others, unfortunately, which is a shame. And I hope you feel a bit better soon. Maybe tomorrow when we talk, you'll be feeling on top of the world. So what should we say? 20 more minutes. So get your comments down. Let's talk geek. Let's talk nerd. If you see any news going on, let me know. Tell me your theories. Tell me your hot takes. 20 minutes. Let's not waste that 20 minutes. You've got me here. Let's talk. Bobcat, I've gotten some toenail removed 3 times and then completely removed. And each time it was 10 shots in my left big toe. Wow, wow, wow. Sounds painful. JDTSB, I don't think it was mocking paedophiles. He had years of tweets he erased, remember? The tweets were jokes about children that were abused. It wasn't him supporting abusers. Now, the jokes were in poor taste, JDTSB. So he's not, I don't want to say the word because I don't like the word, but he's not a paedophile, right? For some reason, he went to these stupid parties. Now, I don't know if they were what he was doing there, what it was all about. It's fucking odd. I must admit, it is odd. I don't know what it was about. I don't think he's ever explained it. So I don't know enough about it, JDTSB. But the jokes were in poor taste, and I agree. But I'm choosing to let bygones be bygones. You know why? Because as far as we know, he hasn't abused a single child. So that makes him all right with me, and I can move on from it. That's from me. Bobcat, we talking about James Gunn. That's right, Bobcat. So I don't really care. I mean, what's in your closet? Imagine if everyone found out, because everyone's got their little secrets, JDTSB. None of us are perfect. Always remember that. That's the problem with this council culture, isn't it? Ronnie Dodge. I saw people thinking Sasha is going to wear a wig, but I'm loving the short hair. I think Sasha's going to be, I think the statement will be she's a Latino young woman. She's keeping her hair. Simple as that. There's nothing wrong with her hair. People are obsessed with making her blonde, and we've seen another version of Supergirl from the comics where she has got the same kind of hair. So, people need to shut up. Bobcat, I think we all know. I don't care. No, I don't care either, Bobcat. As I say, we've all got stuff in our closets, right? We've all done things, right? And he's not an abuser. We must remember, he's not an abuser, right? So that's very, very important. Bobcat, she's not Supergirl, but Superman's daughter. She confirmed it. Oh, shut up, Bobcat. Where did you see that? Sorry for telling you to shut up, by the way. I got carried away there. But what do you mean where did she confirm this? JDTSB, I like Amber Heard, but I saw articles about her replacement in A2. Happy if she's retained. I don't know what A2 is, but it sounds like a very low-key publication, so I wouldn't take any notes. She's retained because she's getting ready. She's keeping fit and stuff for the movie. She's definitely doing it. Bobcat, her social medias. Where? You're not on Twitter, are you? Hang on a minute before I get excited. When did you see this? Hang on, one of my Amazon orders has been dispatched. This is exciting. Hang on. Jesus Christ, how many notifications? Oh, go away, leave me alone. Right. All right. Let's see what order this is then. That's interesting. She did it. Right. Hang on a minute. Right. Ronnie Dodge, don't care. He seems a great guy, and I've spoken to him on Twitter, as I have I. And the world is like a goldfish bowl. Everyone wants to know everyone's business. Listen, Ronnie, it's simple. We've all got secret shit. We all think shit. We all do shit. Why are we judging other people? Bobcat, she made a post about her character, and I can't remember complicated names for the life of me, but it's like a Latina supergirl with a black-like suit in the comics. Are you telling? So you definitely know for a fact that she's Superman's daughter, not the cousin. Bobcat, late last night. Ronnie Dodge, was it on her Instagram? Ronnie Dodge, Justice League, I'm guessing, Mick. Ronnie Dodge, your parcel. Oh, right, hang on, let's have a look. I think it might be a Man United one. Let's have a look. I'm sure we're all curious now, aren't we? Probably not, but it must be my Man United one. It doesn't say dispatched on there. You can't fucking trust them. Right. Is Sasha's not on? Is Sasha on Twitter? But why didn't any publication talk about that? That would have been news. Yeah. No, she's not said anything. Yeah, she hasn't said anything on Twitter. That's for sure. So let's go to Sasha's Instagram. Nope. Nope. No, no, no. There's nothing, mate. There's nothing. Oh, it's Zack Snyder's Justice League that's just been dispatched. How exciting is that? So I'm either getting that tomorrow or the next day. Oh, how exciting. JDTSB, is one directing Aquaman 2? Of course. Where have you been, JDTSB? Of course he's directing. He's been attached to that since the end of the last film. Ronnie Dodge, the one I said the other day, see also. So that be possible. Yes, she has Twitter. She hasn't said anything now, Ronnie. She hasn't said anything. Unless she said it in an interview, she hasn't said anything. Kavari, JDBSB, why are you trying to slander James Gunn? Is it because WB is giving him full control over some DC projects and not Snyder? Well, Kavari, what you've got to understand, mate, everyone on the internet has got an agenda, and some people just get carried away with it. Doesn't matter. Gunn has done a Suicide Squad movie. He will have the freedom of DC and WB. Nothing people say or do will change that. We've seen him now at his worst, and he's still got a job. So no one's going to cancel him. You can't stop it. You know, we've had a Snyder trilogy. It's done. This is the future of the DCEU. And talk, and hot takes don't change that, right? And that's how I see it. That's how I see it. So people can talk till they turn to mustard. I mean, obviously, it's kind of happened. It's there. It's not slander as such, but it never bothered me because he didn't actually do anything. He didn't commit a crime. Hmm. So yeah, I don't think there's anything on. There's no new updates on Sasha Calais, but it will be interesting if she's Superman's daughter. And how are they going to do that? Because he can't be Cavill's Superman; it must be another Superman. She could actually be President Superman's daughter. They could be kind of doing that. That would be interesting. Ronnie Dodge, James Gunn is getting creative control. By the looks of it, so is Robert for his Batman as a producer. Yeah, definitely. This is the new leadership of the DCEU. And if people don't like it, they can go over to Netflix and they can stand that, can't they? Yeah, I found the post of someone talking about a since deleted post of her teasing that she's Sir L. Maya Kent, also known as the daughter of Superman, known for being both of Latina and the short hair. That's interesting. So she posted that and then deleted it. Bobcat, she put it in her Instagram, but it's not there anymore, is it? And where have you seen this? Oh, you saw it ages ago. Did you save it or something? Anyway, it is looking, I mean, this is not right. It's obviously a deleted post because maybe they told her to post it, then delete it. I don't think she did it on purpose. So it is looking very likely that this, and actually, I need a pen. Have I got a pen? No, I haven't got a pen. I want to write this shit down. Bobcat, she put it in her Instagram. Is it still on her Instagram? Bobcat, no. But I saw it around like 4 a.m. for me last night. But then she got rid of it. It's not there anymore, is it? JDTSB Kavari, no, it's because of the pics and tweets. Same feeling about him going back to Marvel. He's going back to Marvel to do Guardians, then he'll be done with Marvel. James Gunn is a big part of the future of the DCEU, and nothing anyone says, no, it's not deleted, but it's deleted. I'm confusing myself. It is deleted, also. I want to discuss it very soon, but my girlfriend has sent me a WhatsApp, and this is very important. She posted teasing it, and it has since been deleted. So that's very interesting. So we now know, right? So everything's making sense. So thank you, Bobcat, for that and going off and putting yourself out so we can have the information here on the live chat. So basically, I think we can say it's official, even though it's not. I might prefer that the slick black suit would be sick. So they cast the Latina Supergirl on purpose because this version of Supergirl is a Latina, kind of, right? So she's Superman's daughter, but she is obviously an Elseworld Superman. So that's interesting. Could this be a Superman who eventually turns up? So this is very exciting. This could be another version of Superman. Do we know what the Superman's called? Because I think I missed it earlier. Ronnie George, if that's the case, her being Sir L, that's amazing. There is more than just Kara. Yeah. So Kara can be another version. So that's interesting. Or they may not bother showing us a Kara. That's interesting as well. And so that is, I need to be writing this stuff down because I'm going to forget all of this. I wouldn't mind doing a pre-recorded video about this. Ronnie Dodge, Black Suit Supergirl sounds sick. Yeah, well, we've seen Black Suit Superman. So, yes, very, very exciting. So, she's called Sir L. And what Earth is she from in the comics, or don't we know that? And what's her bobcat? She could be the daughter of Luke Cage, Superman, and possibly Lois Lane in the universe being a Latina. Luke Cage. But Luke Cage is a Marvel character. Huh? Now I'm confused, Bobcat. But anyway, it's looking likely that Sasha Calle is playing a Latina type Supergirl with dark hair called, where are we? Sir L. I'm going to forget these names anyway. Is it Sir L? Right. And she's got a father who is Superman from this same multiverse, right, from the multiverse. So it's very interesting. Okay, not Luke Cage, I'm sorry. I suck with names. I can't remember the actor's name. The actor's name? We don't know who's playing. Oh, Nicolas Cage. Ah, that would be interesting, wouldn't it? If she's Nicolas Cage's Superman's daughter. Wow. The plot is thickening. This is getting exciting, even though we have no confirmation of any of this shit. Hey, let's make it up as we fucking go along. Everybody else does. At least we're doing it with positivity, right? 5 minutes, everyone. I've really enjoyed the chat tonight. It's got better and better and better. Bobcat, he's supposed to be Superman in the Keaton verse. Yes, he was supposed to be Superman because Keaton was going to do a Superman movie. The rumor is that Cage is involved in Flashpoint. Now, if he is, this is going to be amazing because I felt bad for Nick. Nick's a huge Superman fan. He really, I mean, he even had Action Comics #1 for years before he auctioned it off for charity. So, JGDSB, yeah, I know. Thanks for your opinion. Thanks for my opinion. Well, it is my channel, isn't it? That's the gig. Oh, you're talking to someone else, maybe. I don't know. I'm confused. This is the thing, going back to James Gunn. Each one of you and me have done and said things in our lives that we're ashamed of. And if people found out, they'd crucify us, even though they've done worse stuff than us. This is the problem with cancelling people, exposing people, because you and me have got stuff to be exposed as well. That's how life works. JDTSB, Aquaman 2 is Aquaman 2 low. Yes, I know. And James Wan was tapped to direct it. Bobcat, I love James Gunn's films. Yeah, so do I. Very passionate filmmaker, film fan. Ronnie Dodge, Sir L or Maya Kent. She has two different backgrounds. She's Superman's daughter, and there's the other. She was made with Clark's DNA, but created by Brainiac. All right, everyone. Right. I need to take a picture of this. I don't know how I'm going to do it. What am I going to do? I don't even know how to do it. Anyway, right. Because I'm going to forget this, right? Someone needs to do a fucking article about this so I can do a pre-recorded video because I'm very interested. Right. What's the better version? Superman's daughter, right? Or a Supergirl created with Superman's DNA by Brainiac? This is what I think. This is what I think would be more awesome, even though I like the Superman's daughter link because that could be emotional and interesting. I think a Supergirl created from DNA and not knowing her place in the world and being confused and having loyalties to Brainiac and maybe Superman would be fucking fantastic. Imagine Brainiac being the villain of The Flash. It will probably just be Superman's daughter, though. Well, I like both ideas, but I like the Brainiac idea better. That's just so dark and, that's awesome. So I would really like that. And I just think it would be great for the character. It would give Sasha so much to work with. So I think I like the Brainiac kind of Superman DNA thing. I think that will be fucking sensational. So we'll find out. We'll find out. But maybe maybe Brainiac is the villain of the Flash. Maybe Brainiac is the overarching villain for the arc of the next era of the DCEU Phase 2. What do we all think about that? JDTBS just saw news. Amazon bought MGM. I did want to talk about that. Yeah, we found that out hours ago. Thank you for the update, though. Bobcat, I was already excited. Now I'm more excited for her than Ezra Miller. I know what you mean. That shouldn't be the case for a Flash movie, should it? Anyway, yes. Amazon have bought MGM. Of course, MGM own James Bond. Now, Barbara Broccoli and Michael G. Wilson have been running Bond since their father died many, many years ago, Albert R. Broccoli. Now, they have just as much say as MGM. But for me, Amazon are a huge company. They've already said they're going to reboot all the old films that MGM own. And I think they'll want full control of James Bond. Get ready for a huge power struggle between Barbara Broccoli, Michael G. Wilson, and Amazon. Now, there's a lot of deluded James Bond fans out there who don't think this is the case, but it will be. Bobcat, maybe he escapes and cracks the multiverse. Yeah, that's a good idea, actually. Ronnie Dodge, I have said some bad stuff in the past, but we're all human and make mistakes. Can't cancel everyone for making mistakes. That's my point, Ronnie. We all say and do and have done things we're not proud of. And we can all be exposed for those things, but we've all done those things. So how can I judge you when I've done worse shit, right? Well, I don't know. You could be a serial killer. You could be Jack the Ripper's son and you're going about, you're trying to keep the family tradition up. Don't know, do I? Right? But the point being, we've all done shit. We've all said shit. And just because we don't like what each other says doesn't mean we should expose things about each other. It's pathetic. Bobcat, Justice League Crisis on Infinite Earths. Something like that. But a better version than the Arrowverse. Ronnie Dodge, in the comics, Zet-El has always been a hero in both backgrounds. So she probably won't be the villain. She won't be the villain, but I think she'll have emotional ties to Brainiac, and he'll be able to manipulate her at first. So she maybe kind of will be on the wrong side initially until she embraces kind of these characters, these other DC characters. So this is all looking very, very interesting, very interesting. Bobcat, maybe mind control. Yeah, that's a good take. Or maybe just manipulation. Maybe she sees him as her father. Maybe she doesn't know, the truth. Because basically she's still Superman's daughter with the Superman DNA, right? So it sounds extremely interesting. And unfortunately, I'm going to have to cut this amazing geek and nerd chat down. The Flash has to help her break free from Brainiac and their former strong friendship. That sounds amazing, and that sounds like something, when we come up with all these theories and they don't happen and we get disappointed. But that sounds amazing. Wow, thank you, Bobcat, Ronnie Dodge, everyone else who's commented tonight. We've got 7 in the chat, but that's it for tonight's Big Mouth Daily. I will be back tomorrow morning, 9 a.m. for the Big Mouth Daily Live, and we'll talk more about this shit. Bobcat, we can't take him down alone. We need the new Justice League. The multiverse Justice League, Bobcat. Ronnie Dodge, I don't want to get myself hyped up, but just going to wait and see what happens with Supergirl. But it all sounds like she's this Elseworld, Other Earth Supergirl, which is utterly, utterly exciting. If you're rewatching this, comment down below, like, share and subscribe. Come and add me and follow me and tag me over on Twitter at Movies TV Man. It's been a fantastic chat. I've really enjoyed it. And I will see you tomorrow morning, 9 a.m. UK time, for the Big Mouth Daily. But when I see you tomorrow, will Manchester United be Europa League winners? Who knows? Maybe I'll discuss it tomorrow. Until then, goodbye. Oh, hang on. Bobcat, I think she's what I'm most excited for now after the Suicide Squad. Oh, definitely. It sounds very, very epic. Let's see what happens. Bobcat, see you, Mickey. Enjoyed the stream, or what I saw of the stream, lol. Thank you, Bobcat, for making the effort to get in. I'm glad you had your vaccine, and I'm sorry it's hurting and making you ill a bit, but I'll get updated with all of that tomorrow morning, 9 a.m. UK time, for the Big Mouth Daily Live. And till then, goodbye. Ronnie Dodge, that sounds amazing here. Ezra and Sasha would kill them scenes. They certainly would. So see you tomorrow. I'll be back. Just like Arnie was. Quite a few times. See you later.